Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of A Warrior's Journey to Recovery. Today, we are here talking with David. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me, Satin.
No problem. So, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, first and foremost, thanks a lot for setting this up. I think it's important for our veterans and anybody out there to know the resources that exist, and this is a really good way to go and put that out there.
Absolutely.
Um, Definitely want to let everyone also know that I'm very grateful to North Star Hyperbaric and North Star Neurology because without their help, I wouldn't be where I am now. So I'm very grateful for that as well. But in regards to your question, who am I? Who is David? Well, born and raised in El Paso. Um, I always consider myself to be a fun, outgoing person. I love being around people. I love being around my friends, and I love being with my family, and I love traveling and just basically enjoying life. And obviously, we're going to get into it a little bit later. But after my incident, that kind of it really brought in a real big speed bump, which is the reason why I'm so grateful for everything that North Star has been able to do for me. And not to mention also Arizona Healing Veterans, and I am very grateful to them because of their partnership that allowed me to actually be with North Star. So I'm grateful for Arizona Healing Veterans.
Beautiful. Okay, so are you married, children?
So I'm married. I've been married for it's gonna be 22 years this year.
Wow, congratulations.
Definitely, thank you. It's high school sweethearts.
Oh,
We got married very young. And we have two kids. Both my kids, since I got married very young, had them very young. They're both adults. I have my daughter who's 21. I have my son who's 19. And yeah, we live down in Tucson.
beautiful. All right. So, as you said, we would kind of get into, the military and your incident. What branch did you serve in and how long were you in for?
So I actually joined the U.S. Army Reserves down in El Paso back in 2000, and I did my 6 years of active reserve duty with them, and the 2 years in active ready reserve. Um, I was assigned to the 2291st U.S. Hospital, which is Beaumont Hospital, located right outside of Fort Bliss.
Okay. Any injuries while you were in the service?
Thankfully, no. I actually didn't have the opportunity to deploy. I would have loved to have deployed and served my country overseas, but I did go ahead and get activated and just stepped into the active role here at the actual Beaumont Hospital.
Awesome. Okay. And then, so after you, I guess, retired from the military service, you joined the Border Patrol. Is that correct?
That is correct. Actually, in 2003, I wanted to continue to serve the country here, and I actually went ahead and joined the United States Border Patrol. I was lucky to be accepted. It's a strenuous process, but they picked me up, and I was actually assigned to Tucson Station,
Okay.
which is the cream of the crop, I guess is what they
Yeah.
say.
So, how did your lie detector test go?
Actually, when I joined in 2003, we didn't have that going on yet, but
No?
I'm sure I would have passed it.
So, I actually went through the process and had to do the lie detector test and all that too.
Oh yeah, no, I hear it's pretty pretty hard, pretty
It is.
strenuous.
It's pretty nerve-wracking, to be honest. I ended up not getting in because a lot of our military boys were coming back at that time and they all had preference points. So, of course, they get hired on first, which I absolutely understand. I thought that was, a great thing that they allow these guys to come home and give them that opportunity. Um,
No, I agree with you. If anything, I've worked alongside with a lot of good agents that are prior military. One of my trainees, I was a field training officer, was actually a first sergeant.
mhm.
Most respectful trainee I ever had, and he's already surpassed the teacher. He's
Yeah.
a supervisor, and who
Wow.
knows what kind of level of management he's already achieved. So we're definitely happy to have our veterans and our prior military go ahead and join.
Awesome. Okay, so while you were in the Border Patrol and on duty, correct? You experienced quite the incident. What can you tell me about that?
Definitely. So as I mentioned earlier, I joined the Border Patrol in 2003. Last year in 2021, I've been in already 18 years. I was working. I worked the swing shift. I always worked the swing shift because that's where all the action was, and I wanted to be in. I wanted to be in the thick of it.
Right.
And we were down on the border, responding to a group of individuals I had just crossed, mostly teenagers. This is during that time when the huge influx of people started coming across, and I was there to help transport them out and everything. And while we were in the process of doing that, another agent was trying to come and assist with the transport, But we were right on the other side of a really high hill,
Mhm.
and by the time she crested the hill, she was in a 2x4 vehicle in a Ford Transit van,
Mhm.
just to give you a better idea what she was traveling in. And she didn't have the opportunity to stop, or she slammed on the brakes, braked and turned. All I saw was the vehicle coming, and it wasn't stopping. So I had two teenagers in one in each hand, and I actually threw them out of the way, and I yelled at the rest of my coworkers to watch out. And as soon as I finished the word out, I was out. It turns out that the van clipped me, sent me somersaulting forward, and I landed face down. And I feel really bad for my coworkers because we all work together. We have camaraderie. We see each other as a brotherhood, sisterhood, and I can just imagine what they must have gone through, thinking that I was possibly dead. You know,
Right.
and from there, the chaos erupted over the radio. The chatter. Hey, officer down, and everybody started responding. All traffic ceases, and attention goes to the individual that's actually on the ground, and they rolled me over. Turns out I was actually out for 30 minutes unconscious. When I came to, I actually suffered a seizure as well, and as a result of that, they had to airlift me out of the off the border and took me over to the hospital. And during the evaluation, I guess what I suffered was two intracranial bleeds in my head,
Mhm.
obviously a traumatic brain injury there, and the concussion itself, and then also the I fractured my L2 vertebrae.
Oh, man. Okay. So, how would you say that accident affected your day-to-day living? What kind of challenges were you experiencing that led you to search out North Star?
So, as I mentioned, I was in the Border Patrol for 18 years. I'd been in high speed pursuits. I'd been in actually been shot at, and I've confiscated a lot of marijuana. I've arrested a lot of individuals, and I never imagined. I know that my job is inherently dangerous, and I put on my belt and my badge, knowing exactly what can result.
Right.
It could be in my last day. So, I always make sure I say my goodbyes to my family and everything. But I never imagined myself getting hit by a car and then suffering the injuries that I did. Yeah, and the way I heard about North Star was because of my chaplain. My chaplain actually worked with one of the nurses there at North Star, and he's the one that reached out to her and explained my situation, let her know my background, also with the army, and they put me in contact with Dr. Sexton, and Dr. Henricks there at North Star. Got interviewed by them, and I qualified for the Arizona Healing Veterans Program, and uh, and and I just been going through that process. So what happened immediately after my release, I started seeing the injury take effect on my life. I couldn't focus. I had constant migraines, and these are not headaches that, oh, I got a headache, let me take some Advil. They're headaches that they're debilitating. It stops me in my tracks. I can't continue whatever I'm doing, whatever family activity I may be doing, activity I may be doing with my friends. So I definitely saw a change in my personality, and so did the people around me. I
Right.
mean, my wife, she leans on me a lot. Being the head of the household and the main breadwinner as well. I mean, she I could see sadness and she was just trying to comfort me because she could also see sadness in me
Mhm.
because I would like to consider myself a strong person.
Right.
But now I felt weak. I felt like I couldn't do what I needed to do for my family.
Yeah.
So very demoralizing. Very demoralizing.
That's definitely not an easy thing to go through, as a spouse. Watching your significant other struggle is definitely not it's not an easy place for us to be too, especially how do we help you, you know?
Oh, I agree with you 100% on that. So my first treatment was actually in May, early May. My accident happened on April 21st. So early May, within weeks, I was accepted into the Arizona Healing Veterans Program. I went ahead and Dr. Sexton encouraged me to go ahead and hit it hard, start going in, and I did 2 treatments a day. And uh, by my third treatment, I could see that I was changing. Like, I'm not gonna say that I came back 100%, but I saw changes, like a little bit more focus. And actually, I remember because I couldn't drive myself because I couldn't focus, and the migraines, and I had a high sensitivity to light,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't want to put anybody else's life in danger while I'm driving down the road. And I remember coming out after just my third treatment, and my wife asking me how it was, and I actually broke down and got emotional because I could feel that I was that I like some light at the end of the tunnel. I know I was far from it. I'm still recovering in the recovering stages, but I knew that this is what I needed to do in order to get better. And I just thanked her for her support, and I actually apologize for having to put her through this.
Yeah. Well, we all know it wasn't your fault, but I totally understand where you're coming from with that. Um, so you were focusing better. Um, how long? I mean, are you still suffering from the migraines, or are those kind of dwindling down at this point?
So after my 20th treatment, I definitely started seeing myself come a little bit more active, a little bit more back to life. I still cannot do strenuous activities because they do cause migraines.
Mm-hmm.
But right at the beginning, I mean, I would even have to say probably all the way up to my 80th treatment, which was probably right around August, September.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I, I would get them pretty regularly every day. Uh, Had migraines that would just cause me to stop. I couldn't go to the grocery store to buy groceries
Right.
or anything like that. But right around my 80th, my 100th treatment, I started seeing them start dissipate. I mean, I still get them.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do strenuous activity. I haven't been able to work out yet,
Yeah.
which is obviously necessary for my job because I work outside and it's rigorous, and I haven't even been able to do that yet. But yes, I definitely do see that they've gone. They're further apart than what they used to be.
Good.
Talking to my loved ones, my friends, uh, they tell me, "Yeah, you're night and day." And I, well, what do you mean? And they'll be like, "Yeah, I would be talking to you, and then all of a sudden you would freeze, like like there was a disconnect, and it would take like a minute or two, and all of a sudden like you're just reconnected. Oh, there you are.
Right.
What
Like, hello.
happened? Yeah." And I think what really, and they would just stare and they would bear with me and everything. But I actually remember being at my friend's house, and his father was there.
Mm-hmm.
He's from out of town, and he's met me before, and we've had conversations, and he literally told me I can tell the difference, and that actually made me accept that I've been injured, and I think that's really the very first step to recovery is understanding that you are injured.
Right.
That, like you just said right now, it's not my fault.
It's
It
not.
happens. Um, Too many times, our veterans, our first responders, we're public servants, so we always care about everybody else around us instead of
Absolutely.
taking care of ourselves. And we do have to take a step back. We have to take a time out and accept the fact that we're not invincible. We are vulnerable, and
Yep.
and bad stuff happens. And it does take courage. It takes knowledge and information. Like I said, the podcast brings good information to people and letting them know that this resource is available.
Yeah.
I would have never heard of it if it wasn't for my chaplain who knew somebody there,
Yeah.
because I would have probably just laid down and taken it as a defeat. And
And a lot of guys do because they don't know about us or what we do. And it's unfortunate. It's really why we're here, why we're trying to get your story so that, anyone out there listening knows, there is help. There is people out there like us who genuinely care. We want to help people. We want people to get better. Watching every one of you guys come through our doors is, it's an emotional journey for me because I get to see you guys from beginning to end, and seeing you when you first come through our door, which we all know is the hardest part of all of this, is just bringing yourself in through our door and saying, I'm I'm struggling, I need help.
I need help, and
Yeah,
that's the
and
most important
a
part.
lot of guys, they're so proud, and I understand that. I grew up with a very proud father, and so they don't want that pride to be, broken down by admitting that there is something going on and that they need help. Um, but I think it's a beautiful thing, and watching you guys get better and heal it's just, as rewarding for me as it is for you guys, just in different ways, obviously.
Oh no, definitely. And the great thing about North Star is, it partners up with the Arizona Healing Veterans Program, and you're you're amongst friends. Because it's more of a family. It's more of a community. You ask, your fellow veteran, your fellow person that's getting treatment. How are you doing? How many treatments have you done? And you encourage each other, you motivate each other, and I remember I've asked. There was this veteran there, and he was telling me how early he would get there because that was the only ride he had. I
Mhm.
found out he lived near me, and I told him, "Hey, I come here too. I'm here for 2 treatments. If you want, I'll pick you up." And he said, "Okay, thanks. I'll think about it." And he didn't need the ride after all, but I was willing to help him. And
Right.
so many of us that are there, so many of us that are treating, they're willing to help each other.
Yeah, it's like that brotherhood that you guys had, in the military or in the border patrol. You guys, I see, tend to pick back up on that when you come in. It's funny walking past the conference room and hearing like 5 or 6 of the guys in there, talking and telling their stories and laughing. That warms my heart. It brings joy to me because, these are guys who came in and didn't want to say anything. They, didn't want to talk, or you know what I mean? They're just real quiet and real reserved. And then all of a sudden, you get them around their brothers from the military, and it's like this whole new person just like explodes. They just open up and start talking, and you hear them laugh, and sometimes you see them cry. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch you guys come together like that and really enjoy each other's company, I think.
Oh no, definitely, I agree. As large as our military is, it's still, in my opinion, it's still a tight knit community. Once
Absolutely.
you run into one another, it's like you just instantly bond.
Mhm.
I met a veteran there. He was a sergeant first class. Turns out another sergeant first class that he served was my classmate in the border patrol.
Wow.
So I thought, wow, what a small world.
Right? I was
Yeah.
gonna say, what a small world.
Yeah.
So how would you say the hyperbaric treatments have made a difference in your recovery this far? I know you've said that the migraines aren't as often, and your family has noticed. Um, but recovery wise, what couldn't you do that really bothered you that you can do now?
That's simple. Everyday activities. I mean, to go grocery shopping, like I just said earlier, um, I would get these migraines that I had literally have to stop in my tracks, and I'd be there for about 5, 10 minutes before I can actually continue. Um, the conversations, like I mentioned, I'm a very outgoing person. I love to be around family. I love to be around friends. Uh, it's not the same
Right.
when you can't communicate with them, or they have to wait for you for 2 minutes for you to finish your sentence, and then it's like, well, what were we talking about again?
For you to reprocess what you
Yeah,
what
so
you were trying to say.
definitely. So everyday activities. I mean, it's definitely, I can see the difference there. I'm grateful for it because at the end of the day, it's one of the hardest things with with TBIs, traumatic brain injuries, is that you can't see it. You know, and being proud, like you mentioned, or trying to be macho. Being Hispanic and all. Uh, you don't want to admit that something hurts.
Yeah.
Like you said, and that that's the first thing, is to know that you are injured and to accept that it's okay to be injured, and to ask for help. So a lot of times, um, you can't see it, so it's not like a scab. It's not like, oh, you see the scab and, oh, look, I'm getting better. It's going away. It's, you feel good, and then all of a sudden, oh no, wait a minute, no, I'm not good yet.
Yeah.
So the hyperbaric chamber helps with that because you can't see the injury, so you can't just, oh, look, it's still open. Let me go ahead and put some neosporin on it.
Right.
But that the oxygen is reaching the blood cells. It's helping with the plasma, which is helping with the healing process and all that stuff. So it definitely has helped, and I know that I am where I'm at in my current status as a result of the hyperbaric.
Awesome. And you said you completed 100 treatments, right?
I'm at 107 right now.
Okay.
Fortunately, life does happen. This Omicron version, whatever, with its little side effects, residual side effects of sinus infection and
Mhm.
stuff, has actually kept me away. And it's unfortunate because I want to get back in, but um, when you go under pressure, you can't pop your ear. So,
Yep.
it hurts.
Hey, you and me next week.
Yeah, yeah, we'll make it happen.
We will. We got this. Well, I absolutely appreciate you being here today, and sharing your story with us. I know it's not always easy, sitting behind a microphone, just, trying to have a conversation. Obviously, y'all, I'm still new. I'm learning. I know I'm not the best podcast host here, but I'm trying. Just bear with me. But I'm so glad you came today.
Oh,
You
definitely,
know,
Satin. I really appreciate you having me here. I mean, I'm just one guy, but I know that there's a lot of veterans out there. There's a lot of first responders that have suffered injuries that they're probably still dealing with the side effects of that injury or still
yeah,
haven't completely healed from that, and they don't know where to turn to. I met so many wonderful people during my journey with the hyperbaric, and I actually remember meeting another veteran, female. You know, Nowadays it's just too easy to here take this medication, and before you know it, now we have substance abuse or you're addicted to it and stuff, and this is more natural. This is the body's natural way of healing, and it's great that you're bringing awareness to it. And I don't think you did too bad, so don't worry about it.
thank you.
But no, thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and look forward to treating with you next week.
Sounds good. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye bye.